Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to City Skylines 2 and Utampia here on the Tampier map. So we're working our way to milestone 2, which is obviously going to give us some more development points, which is really what I'm looking for at this point. The challenge that I'm struggling with right now is, how do we become profitable? And so if we look here at our budget tab, you can see we've got taxes, which we can't get to yet, and services, which we also can't get to. You can see it's milestone 2 and milestone 3. So they kind of go in order, which I like the way this is designed, certainly. And then services trade is where we get surplus from city services that are traded. So that electricity that we're selling, that is the 7,000 monies that we have that we're getting. And then government subsidies are just things where you can see, it automatically grants city subsidies depending on its economic situation. A larger city with high revenue stream receives only negligible to no subsidies. So I think this just trickles away over time. You can see it just changed month to month. And right now our expenses are just upkeeps. So if we have subsidies, I think that's if we lower taxes too low. So I think some of these line up evenly. So taxes and subsidies go here. So if we basically create a negative tax rate, which we are able to do here, it will then move us in that direction. So right now if I look, we don't have a ton of extra power, but what I think I'm going to want to do is continue selling that power. And so definitely the geothermal, I'm not sure where it is, there it is. So I'm going to need 750,000 monies for that to go ahead and operate. I think I'm going to try and refer to that here as monies, because it's not real money. It's this fake amount, so it's not dollars, it's not whatever. There may be a name. It technically has a symbol like cents in the US, but 710,000 cents isn't a lot. So we'll call it monies. I'll call it monies. I don't know. And we'll go from there. At this point, now we do have the medium density is growing. Once again, the milestones within City Skylines 2 are not population driven directly. So I determined after editing the first video that you're not able to see the frames per second counter that I have available. So if I do start taking a look at that, obviously until things change right now, I don't really need to worry about it. Okay, so we're getting population increase and citizens' happiness. The thing I don't know is at what times does that happen, because you can see the other thing that is interesting, the game started in June, and now we're in July, so we're not that far along. 1 month is equal to 24 hours, so basically you can see the time ticking away. But you can see, as I talked about in the first episode, that the progression is pretty basic and slow, which is great. It's very deliberate. Alright, I have no vehicles in use. I don't know that I like that, because this was the situation I swear I had before, where I felt like this wasn't connected. But clearly it is. I mean, we have 10 employees, so everybody we need is employed. And maybe it's simply because there isn't trash, because right now I don't even think, oh no, I can look at garbage management. See, so that's the thing, is that if the garbage rate is higher, if the generation rate is higher than the processing rate, garbage trucks can't collect all the garbage. So right now, we're generating 5.1 tons a month, and we can only process half a ton. It's definitely going to be a problem, I think. So that's an interesting dynamic to watch. But like right now, like in theory, it's generating garbage, it says, but I'm not seeing any garbage trucks or anything happening. All right, so all of our medium density housing that we needed has gone away. We've got all of these row houses finally built. I think I have everything zoned. Let me just verify. Turn that off. Okay, so now I can still put that in there. Can put that in there. So yeah, there's a couple places we can still add some more. So that should eventually allow some things to grow. And then I suppose, since I need some residential, well, now it's falling though, maybe because, although I don't have low density, so I think I'll go ahead and build that here. Let me change my tool settings. Alright, so the Pop Musician Mansion. Perfect for the parties the pop star living here loves to throw. So we've got a few signature buildings, well, or a signature building. So does it tell you how we get these? Oh yeah, okay. So EU low density media goods. Interesting. So you can kind of earn these based on what we've got. I think because I'm in Europe, because yeah, in the US I think it's a Rockstar Mansion, because when I was playing around and testing, it was the Rockstar Mansion that I eventually got. In theory, we could use some more industry. Planning ahead, if I look at the aquifers, which this is obviously not the way I do that, I've got water over here. I think like this would be a great place for my geothermal plant, which means kind of growing out in that direction might not be a bad idea. So I'm going to go ahead here. We'll kind of lock onto the grid. You know, we'll keep things at the 90, and I'll kind of run out in this direction. All right, there we go. Small village. So let's see what we get here. 700,000 monies, 2 development points, 4 expansion permits. We increased the loan. I'm going to really try to stay away. We can now do taxation, which we saw. We've got some housing capabilities, and we're now able to do schools and research. So let's go to development and let's take a look at our electricity development tree. And so you can see here, I need an emergency battery station to get to the geothermal power plant. So I'm going to go ahead and spend this point, and let's see, the station reduces negative effects buildings suffer from when there is no electricity. Sounds like a good use of things. So I guess, you know, we'll have to see if it makes sense, because I don't want to overspend. But what I then also now want to do is I want to start gridding out my industrial. So let's see if we kind of go the same way. I'm not sure if the 11288 grid is going to be as helpful here, but we're going to try it. Let's see what I can do. 88, I'm at 90. I just want to make sure I'm drawing everything intentionally. But at this point we have a need for some industrial. I don't want to zone too much. I'm actually going to start... Wait a minute. This is too big of a square. Goodness gracious, hold on a second. Like, this clearly is longer. And I'm going to zone back here. We might get some interesting things coming up. Actually, I don't want to zone here, because if I eventually expand that way, that's in the way of the road, so is that. So let me get rid of those so that we're lined up. Oh, now we don't have any need. Alright, so here you can see is the medium density versus row housing, so you can see European style small apartments. So speaking of, by the way, and let me now look at this, so we still have medium demand. There was an announcement by Paradox and Colossal Order. There is going to be regional free content packs that have about 2,500 assets coming out as part, I think, of the introduction of the Paradox mods. So if you're unfamiliar with what is going to be happening there, Paradox has said they're no longer going to be supporting Steam, Let me see if there's single unit of these. There may not be. All right, are there two? Okay, so they are too wide. So what I want to do again is make sure that they form. So I don't think I have enough. I'm going to have one extra space there, so maybe we landscape or we do something. And let's see if I put a large apartment there. We'll see what develops in kind of a 3x4 square. But they talked about providing those. I don't know that I want a big one like this. So this is, oh boy, that's even bigger. Goodness gracious. Let's see. So let me zone. I guess we'll just let it. Well, then hold on. Then let me zone this, and I guess we'll let it develop what develops. So I'm going to blow this one up still, and then we'll let it come back. All right. So we're going to get some really large ones, but we'll see. So we have a couple 2x4s, a 3x4. And then two 4x4s. See, and then that's the issue. Like this one showed up on this street, which is not the end of the world with what we have. All right, so we still need more low density housing. So the real question is, like, where do I want to develop out? Because yeah, there's things I can do. I mean, I could expand. Just I thought I was going to try to stay out of this area. So it's really going to become like, what do I want to do? So there's just a lot of room with land there, because it does cost money to buy the tiles, and I'm thinking there's also an impact beyond that. All right, well, let's look at the tiles, because at this point, like, and one of the nice things too is, like, you can see you don't have to purchase the tiles nearby. If you remember in City Skylines 1, you had to go ahead and it just unlocked things nearby. I guess that's the entire map. We can't go beyond that. We're pretty much in the center. This way just seems very constrained. Like, logically, I should start going that way. Is this just, okay, so this is just a river. Alright, so if I go this way, we're going to get some more groundwater and wood. And, of course, buildable area. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase those. I don't know that I entirely need them, but I think that makes sense. And then that way, I'll have the rail corridor here, which will work. But the problem is I'm going to have to build an interchange now off the highway, which, heck, I never really did in basic City Skylines. So. Alright, so the road services, snow clearing, traffic accidents. We haven't placed one of these, but it does have monthly upkeep as well. Yeah, I think we talked about doing this. Here, I think this makes sense. But what I want to do, because one of the reasons that I did unlock the road services was that it gives you this capability here where I can go ahead now. I guess I have to keep it selected and right-click this, and you can see I am now removing the signals from these intersections. So from a traffic standpoint, this main connector or collector then will just let cars go quickly. And, I can put stop signs in. I can also adjust turning lanes and so forth. So you can see here, for example, like if I wanted to, click on this, you can see that left turn arrow goes away, and that way I can just make things go the way I want. But that was one of the reasons I wanted to unlock that as well. No, okay, it looks like, oh no, there are still signals there, so let's get rid of that, because we want this main road to flow. So it is kind of a problem in that you can't, like you could in City Skylines, you can't control, like, hey, I want stop signs across. It's either four-way stops and four-way lights or nothing. Alright, so high rent. Okay, so that's because we have a shortage of housing, I believe. Alright, so now we can kind of see what these look like. I mean, they honestly look better than the American ones, I'll tell you that. Alright, so I am going to keep going with apartments here. I think that makes sense. So we'll put another one of these buildings here. And then we've got one there. And the question then becomes, do I just do the 3x3s? I think that makes sense. But yeah, my first thought was, oh yeah, I'll buy these squares, but now I've got this challenge. I mean, I'm down to 2200, so it's definitely getting better, but it's just not quite working the way I want. I just don't have a lot of places to put housing is the problem. Like initially it was like, yeah, there's a lot of space around here, but it's kind of difficult. Alright, the good news is some different stuff has kind of showed up here maybe. Alright, so the housing's coming down. Let me just make sure. Alright, I have space there. I don't know. Alright, well, that's okay. Because basically it looks like we're getting 2x3 units in there. At this point, we are. So I think that's actually one I haven't seen either, because these are 2x4. Now I have seen some folks talk about the larger parcels, and I don't know if we can tell here. We can't. That larger parcels... Oh, this is interesting. Cool. So you can see like all the people that live in your... So you've got the Morales family as a household of 1. This one has 3, so we have Bradley, Walter, oh, and a dog. So the household members include that, but then you can see what all these people do, which is pretty nice, and then you can follow citizens and so forth. You know, but what you'd want... So there is an achievement, I think, if I follow somebody from, like, their age. So let's see, their birth. Oh, I guess we started earlier than I thought. Alright, so we'll follow Alexis, but I think if we do that, they're wretched. Wow. Poor folks. Hopefully they do better with their income, but maybe, I wonder, let me look at his household now that I'm doing that. Yes, it was here. So I think this is their household. Alright, they're poor. But no, what I was looking at... Alright, so he's showing up as poor. So it is the household wealth. I'm like, our children simply wretched because they make no money. You know, there's other reasons people might say children are wretched, but that's just being mean. You know, but you can see you've got basically houses and then kind of outbuildings, but once again, like, there's multiple households here. So there's 5, and then I like the fact that you can see who's in every household if you really want to drill down and just start examining what's happening with your people. Why is this particular one of high rent? And I wonder if it's because you can see, like, this one was much longer, but there's just a lot of stuff going on that didn't allow that one to expand. I mean, it is a wealthy family. Looks like the high rent thing went away, so maybe it's normalizing a bit. Why is this not developing here? Because now there's a need. Why are they not coming in there? I don't understand. Let me clear this and then zone it again and see, does it awaken? It's on the road. Interesting. We'll just leave it, I guess. I don't know what else I could do. Ooh. Yeah, this is not the best. I mean, I know cars wouldn't... I don't think they go in more than 1 lane anyway, but now you've got folks parked on that. what really is kind of a main road. Alright, I still have one development point, but yeah, I can't unlock it until I have 2, so I have to wait to milestone 3. I don't want to overbuild, but I also don't want to underbuild. I mean, I know I'm going to get more money. Alright, so I could just do a really ugly, sloppy kind of interchange. Because if I go over here, like we've got an interchange that is then going to that other highway that goes around and underneath, which is all well and good in its own way, but obviously, you know, it would be good to take advantage of things here. I suppose I could build this way well, but I still need an interchange. So I guess what I need to figure out is where my road is going to be. So let's just put it in the center. So let me start with that. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, so learning as we go. That's the most important thing. So now I'm at 0 meters. So let's see, we'll go 112. And then in theory, I'm at 0. And that should, alright, so at some point we're going to get, I guess, a little bit of weirdness going on. But, alright, so I go out 112. And then again, I'll zoom back out and we'll just head out that way. There we go. But then the challenge becomes, what kind of ramps or what kind of roads can we design? So basically, because in theory, I'm trying not to take up a ton of room. And maybe I have enough room here where I can... how do I want to do this? Because I'm trying to keep the ramp getting on here simple, but yet obviously I need a way for the traffic to get over. But what I think I want to do is run... Okay, so I can't do that because obviously it's not liking what I've done there. It won't let me under. So I can't do that. I was hoping I could go under, because if I basically take this and then again go out 88, we'll just kind of start gridding things out and then go over 112. Okay, that's way further. There we go. Alright, so that would be the typical grid. But this just seems like a long way to go here. So if I then come down here a little bit, I think I'm going along there. This is like the dumbest thing ever created, but I'm just going to create it anyway. For good, bad, or otherwise, we now have access. What is this train doing? That is the slowest moving train ever. I think it's stopped and now is reversing and going wherever this was. So I think it came from here, stopped, and is now heading backwards, which is interesting. But that's because, although, well, yeah, because it's probably one way. All right. So, all right, let me go ahead, because the one thing I haven't done, although, wow, I don't know that I want to yet. Like, I haven't put schools in, but at some point they're going to start grumbling. They probably already are. I just honestly haven't been paying attention because I've been building... I mean, look how much of my tile I took up by this. This is terrible. I mean, again, I can use some of this space, but this is like... This is just a bad design. So anyway, let me build the grid out. Alright, so at this point we've got some low density housing going in. What is happening? Why are they... What do they not have? How do I not have... How do I not have electricity? Oh, that's interesting. Highways don't have... Highways don't have electricity. I did not know this. Well, now we know. Alright, well then what I will do is I will run a cable here. Let's see. So if I go underneath, that should take it from there, and then we'll just run it as straight over as we can. What do you mean invalid shape? Why? What's wrong with the shape? Can I not run it under the highway? No, I just didn't like the shape. I don't know what that means, but anyway. Alright, so we have that, but then that likely also means I don't have sewage. Alright, so we're going to take that and we're just going to follow the same path. And so hopefully now we solve that problem. Now the question is, do I want to divide up? So let me go back here and do the same thing. We'll take this road out. And then we'll just build things out. Alright, so that gives us a bit of a grid. And so what I'm going to do is I want to get some high density housing, and I'm not going to put pedestrian paths over on this side. I'm just not sure that that is in the best interest of what I've got right now. So this definitely is going to be maybe a less beautiful city than it could be. But we'll have that, and then I'm going to try to do some of the kind of mixed use residential and commercial that you get in some cases. So we'll put little commercial hubs in there. Do the same thing over here so that, you know, maybe little shops pop up or something. But you can see we're not going to get high density business until milestone 9. So, like, this is what we get for a while. It's interesting what happened. Like, is that not zonable? Whoops. Shoot. Darn it. So I ended up condemning that building with what I did, but there we go. It's okay now. Did I end up... I don't know what happened there. Because, yeah, all of these look a little weird. But anyway, I mean, they seem like I can do something with them. Yeah, the thing I don't know is, like, can I... If I zone over this, will this knock the power out? That's... Whoop, 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 whoop. That's the last thing I want to do. Alright, so we need some low density. But basically what I was thinking is that I'm going to kind of have low density on one side and high density on the other. So, whoa, shoot. Golly. So, gotta get used to that. Holy goodness, that was not good. Alright. So we're okay there. I don't know if that one U space or whatever is going to, I'll call it a 1U space, is going to clear up. But what I'd like to do is at least get to level 3 here, milestone 3, so that we can see if we can get the geothermal in and do stuff. That would be, I think, what I'd like to do to get to the end of this episode. And I consider that a victory, because right now, yeah, we're slowly creeping down toward profitability. We're almost right at 2,000. So we were at like 2,500 when the episode started. Now we're at 2,000. Let me go into taxation, which we hadn't taken a look at. And I'm going to increase that a little bit. I'm going to increase all of these to the 12% we can do in Cities Skylines 1 without people grumbling too much. See, my challenge is I'm trying to intentionally avoid, although I don't know that I can, so... See, because my other concern is, like, do I have enough space? Like, will the students be serviced from the other side if I do that? Because I don't know that I want the school on the arterial, because the other thing is, you can see the size of these, and the high school's even worse. I'm really trying to avoid going out, so maybe what I'll do is I'll put it over here. So let me do that. Alright, so it does give happiness all the way across. Because the challenge ends up being at this point, if I click on this building, again, there's upgrades. So I can do an attached clinic, which that is an outbuilding, as you can see. So I need to find a home for it. These are on the same footprint, and the playground also attaches. So you need space around these schools to be able to do things. Alright, I only need 750,000 for the geothermal, but you can see again the size of this high school. This is not a small asset. But what I may do to keep it fair, and maybe what I do is I back up. Now I can't put the high school there. I was going to say I'll back up the high school to, so I can't fit it there, but I can fit it there. So let me take a look. Whoops. Let me zoom in a bit. So I think we also have the situation. Alright, there we go. Large village. So 800,000, 3 development points, 5 tiles or expansion permits. Loan limit, we can now do service budgets, livestock farming, stone mining, and we have fire and police now, which we're going to have to place soon too. But before I do any of that, let's look again. So this is an extension wing. It just goes on. The school library goes on the other side, but this stadium, oh boy, I wonder, I might be able to do it behind the school, so this might work out over time. So hopefully that's a good spot for things. Alright, so let me now head over here. Let me actually, I've got to earn it by going to the development points. So if I go here and go to the geothermal, converts underground heat into electricity while generating only some air and noise pollution. So it's relatively efficient in how it operates. So here we go. It's generated from heat drawn, no fuel source is needed. They're somewhat expensive to build and maintain. Some greenhouse gases, but they can be upgraded as well. So, alright, so I probably need to back this off a bit. And then let me go back here. So the question is, like, does this require a road connection or anything? Because I want to see it give me an error that I don't have water, but it's not telling. Okay, now I see it says no groundwater. Alright, so it's that way. But now, let's see, the power lines seem to go out because it looks like the connection is more that way, but I have to be connected to a road somewhere. Where is the road connection is the question. I would think it's not in the back. I would think it's somewhere up there, but what I'm thinking is if the electric connection is over here on the left, that then I can go ahead and do things. Let's see. Let me look at the contours here, because it looks like, yeah, it looks like we've got a disaster. So let me level from here and clear out the space here so that this is more level and we're not creating a problem as we get in here. So we're going to have a little bit of road issues there. We're going to soften the terrain. There we go. Alright, so hopefully that works. Let's see, what do I got to do here by the water? Because I think, again, we've created a bit of a lip. Let me lower the power here, because what I don't want to do is just create a mess over there. Alright, so now if, oh my goodness, this thing is big. I don't think I have enough space yet that I've leveled. I don't. I have to do a little bit more over here. So I guess we'll, whoops, I guess we'll take this and we'll head out and we'll just maybe leave the cliffside dwelling by the water. But yeah, that might be better there. Because obviously I'm right at the edge. Yeah, buying the tile, I don't know. If I have to later, I'll worry about it, but... Alright. So... it's going to be interesting. Let's say that. Alright, have a city that produces electricity by only using 0 emissions, which is great. Alright, so once again, here... okay, so I need the road over here. So I think I can do that. So this is going to be a new power line. Wait, allows, do I need that? Allows for a new power line to be built from the plant. Oh, so I might need to do that, although there's something there that's a connection. Increase the power output and adds another connection, so that's just like upgrading things. And then a binary lower thermal temperature which increases the power output. So those are all upgrades I can do over time. So yeah, so now we're at 9,000. So right now this looks like a really bad idea. I hope I'm wrong. Alright, so the thing is, can I don't know that it matters. I think I have to take this power in some way over here. Does that work? Alright, there we go. So that then starts transmitting out, I think, is what is happening. And then once I connect to the road, I'll have the ability to transmit internally. So let me make sure snap to building is on. It is. So we'll go over here. So there we go. So we now have a road connection. And then we want to go out this way a bit. And maybe, let's see, how do we want to do this? So if I just kind of take this as smoothly as I can, overlapping items. Alright, so we are trading a good amount of electricity. So like I said, these are the high tension lines, I believe, and then they come in to here, and then we should be good. At least that's what it looked like, because it's basically sending the power out, and I'm over here and connected to the high voltage and just sending it right out, which is what I want. Now, why am I not getting power through there? Do I have some break somewhere? I don't understand. Or do I just not have need? Does it not send power if it doesn't need it? I am unsure about that. Like I think I have good enough connections and so forth. I mean, yes, I agree this is a bit of a mess here. I mean, it actually put up a wall. It doesn't look terrible. Obviously the car's driving on it, so it thinks it's okay. Is he gonna go around? Oh no, he just turns around there and then parks. Okay. Because part of what we need to figure out, yeah, so we've already got 13 employees, so this thing is working. It's just a matter of, I'm very surprised that we're not making more positive money. Because yeah, you can see the service trade here, 181, and maybe it's just firing up, and until I get to the full point, I'm not able to do that until I have full employment. You know, I mean, because it is producing, okay, yeah, because it's only at 68%, so there you go. We have 33% not enough employees, so we're basically down a little bit, so it should increase over time. It's just, you know, do I have the workers and so forth. But that's a bit of my plan for starting to become profitable, is basically, all right, so this is high rent, again, because we don't have enough. Now, once again, I got to be careful that I don't zone over things that I already have, because that would be bad. But yeah, if I do this, that should get more people moving in. Let's see. Okay, we got the straight street here. So again, if I go over 112, that should do it. Air pollution, air's getting polluted. What is polluting us? We're like doing green industries and everything. I don't understand. Alright, so let me do that. We'll put more housing over here. But yeah, we're definitely getting a lot of demand. What's our employment look like? 17, so we're getting there. But if I look at it, what do I need? See, it's those well-educated workers. So what someone suggested, I don't know that I'm a fan of this, but you can basically do this and you can decrease the tax rate. I'm not going to go negative, but this is where, like, if I start going negative, that's where it becomes more like you're drawing people in, because you're in essence paying them to move to town. And I think if I was just trying to goose the system a bit, air pollution. What's polluting? I don't understand. Let's see. That's air. What? The trees? I don't understand. It's all of it. What's over here? What am I missing? Or is something blowing? Oh, is this like blowing stuff from the geothermal plant? Or is it just not cleared out or something? Alright, so what I don't understand, if someone does understand, and maybe that is what it is, that I've just put residential in the path, because if I look at this, like in theory, it's going that way, but why it's hanging out over there? Because my question is it just going to clear up? Because like this stuff should just blow away. But why is this showing up that way? Because my hope is that it's just going to clear up over time. Now, can I do something to pollute less? All right, air, because it's air pollution low. Like, it's all low stuff. All right, see, but we're now at 3,400, so that's a good sign. And we're still only at 17, so I think it was just taking a little bit of time before everybody kind of started buying stuff. And then once I get up there, because yeah, if you look at this, like, we're producing 119 megawatts. We don't even need 5. I'm selling 114. Like, I'm basically becoming the energy producer for the region. Oh, looks like someone had an accident over here. I'm gonna pause. I think this is definitely where I'm gonna stop. I've fumbled around enough today, but my target was to do something that at least puts us on a good footing, and I think we've done that. We're just not quite where we want to be. The bars look closer, but the scale is much larger. Yeah, but if you look at this, like, our service trade was 181 monies, and now it's 286. So we went from 181 to 286, and we're still not fully there. But you can see, like, this dwarfs our taxes. If you look at the expansion of the green bar there and how much this is how we make money right now. Now, is that ultimately what we do? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just worried that these plumes are just right there, and somehow that's in the wrong place. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out on that in the future. But if anyone's got input, I mean, is that what's happening? Is my geothermal, is it just polluting everything? I mean, in theory, the arrows are here, so it seems like it's coming from something else that I don't control. But that's what I'm not understanding. It's just the surrounding air pollution is negatively affecting the building's occupants. But how? Polluted air, -9. I mean, because they're content. So right now they're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but something is making them unhappy. Or is it this stuff? But this isn't industry, is it? Oh no, it is. Because that was the thing I was putting. So I wonder if what I need to do is make all of this, if I should flip this. Maybe I should put my, I don't know that I want residential right here, but maybe I move all my residential there. Alright, let me worry about this next time. I'm pretty sure this has gotten long enough as it is. Good news is we have one garbage truck collecting, I suppose. I just feel like this is the same problem I had before, that things weren't operating at the level that I needed them to. Because, yeah, I'm producing 9 tons a month. The garbage processing is something I'm going to have to figure out. So in any event, we're going to wrap this up. We've got our geothermal plant here on the edge of town. As we start to expand Utampia, we have crossed over 1,000 people here in town. Now, the one thing I haven't done, let me take a quick peek. I've got my FPS up, but it doesn't appear to be operating, so I'm not going to get information. I mean, it doesn't look like I have a problem, but at some point, you know, maybe next time I'll check and see what the situation is so that I can hopefully understand what's going on. So I started it up again for that. But hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, and you're enjoying the journey, if you haven't given a like, please consider doing that. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider that. Certainly any comments. Am I on the right track? Would you do things differently? I'm sure the answer to that is yes. If so, what would you do? Let me know. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are substantially better at the city skyline, city planner genre than I am, and I'd hate to start screwing up my city this early on, because I can already see that I'm almost having to start to redevelop right away. Like, these guys seem okay, but these guys obviously are not, and now more people are getting upset. So it's like maybe I just put industry over there and let it blow out over the ocean, and that just become where things sit. It's just obviously the geothermal plant has to be where there's some place for it to run from the groundwater, and that's what we've got. I'm gonna keep thinking about that, and we're gonna keep trying to work on Utampia, and I will see you next time.